Hi, my name is Pat, and this is my channel, Book Chat with Pat, and I'm glad that you're here. Today is Poetry Thursday, and I'm devoting this episode today to the poetry of parents and children. We're celebrating the birth of a new baby in my family this week, and I wanted to observe this very, very blessed event by just simply sharing some poetry about parenthood. A few of these I have read in other videos, and others I've never read before. I've never shared them on the channel before. So let's get to the poetry. I'm going to start with a poem entitled A Poet to His Baby Son by James Weldon Johnson. Tiny bit of humanity, blessed with your mother's face and cursed with your father's mind. I say cursed with your father's mind because you can lie so long and so quietly on your back, playing with the dimpled big toe of your left foot and looking away through the ceiling of the room and beyond. Can it be that already you are thinking of being a poet? Why don't you kick and howl and make the neighbors talk about that damn baby next door and make up your mind forthwith to grow up and be a banker or a politician or some other sort of go-getter or whatever you decide upon? Rid yourself of these incipient thoughts about being a poet. For poets no longer are makers of songs, chanters of the gold and purple harvest, sayers of the glories of the earth and sky, of the sweet pain of love and the keen joy of living. No longer dreamers of the essential dreams and interpreters of the eternal truth through the eternal beauty. Poets these days are unfortunate fellows, baffled in trying to say old things in a new way or new things in an old language. They talk abracadabra in an unknown tongue, each one fashioning for himself a wordy world of shadow problems, and as a self-imagined Atlas struggling under it with puny legs and arms, groaning out incoherent complaints at his load. My son, this is no time nor place for a poet. Grow up and join the big busy crowd that scrambles for what it thinks it wants out of this world, which is as it is and probably always will be. Take the advice of a father who knows you cannot be too young not to be a poet. And next, I would like to read Reading Goodnight, Moon by Maureen, Doallas. Reading Goodnight, Moon is not like stopping at McDonald's for your favorite double-shot latte. You don't drive through. You take each word in a languishing slide off the tongue, naming what is named that you never saw before, looking, finding, pointing delighted in the room, the moon, the light, the red balloon that lifts darkness even as sleep falls fast and clocks' hands change. What you see changing before a child's eyes, if you slow long enough to take in what your child sees with eyes that refuse to be moved to a new page before the first page is exhausted, the last page you turn holds the dream you thought would never last. A snuggling close, closer still, beneath moon's shadows. To a Daughter Leaving Home by Linda Pastan. When I taught you at 8 to ride a bicycle, loping along beside you as you wobbled away on 2 round wheels, my own mouth rounding in surprise when you pulled ahead down the curved path of the park, I kept waiting for the thud of your crash as I sprinted to catch up while you grew smaller, more breakable with distance, pumping, pumping for your life, screaming with laughter. The hair flapping behind you like a handkerchief, waving goodbye. Reading to My Kids by Cavan, Carey. When they were little, I read to them at night until my tongue got tired. They would poke me when I started to nod off after 20 pages of Harry Potter or Lemony Snicket. I read to them to get them to love reading, but I was never sure if it was working or if it was just what I was supposed to do. But one day, my daughter, 15 then, was finishing Of Mice and Men in the car on our way to basketball. She was at the end when I heard her say, "No," in a familiar, frightened voice, and I knew right away where she was. "Let's do it now," Lenny begged. "Let's get that place now." "Sure, right now. I gotta. We gotta." And she started crying. And then I started crying. And I think I saw Steinbeck in the back seat nodding his head. And it felt right to me. Like I'd done something right. And I thought to myself, keep going. Read it to me. Please, please. I can take it. The Writer by Richard Wilbur. In her room at the prow of the house where light breaks and the windows are tossed with linden, my daughter is writing a story. I pause in the stairwell, hearing from her shut door a commotion of typewriter keys, like a chain hauled over a gunwale. Young as she is, the stuff of her life is a great cargo, and some of it heavy. I wish her a lucky passage. But now it is she who pauses, as if to reject my thought and its easy figure. A stillness greatens in which the whole house seems to be thinking, and then she is at it again with a bunched clamor of strokes, and again is silent. I remember the dazed starling, which was trapped in that very room 2 years ago, how we stole in, lifted a sash, and retreated not to affright it, and how, for a helpless hour, through the crack of the door, we watched the sleek, wild, dark, and iridescent creature batter against the brilliance, drop like a glove to the hard floor or the desktop, and wait then, humped and bloody, for the wits to try it again, and how our spirits rose when, suddenly sure, it lifted off from a chair back, beating a smooth course for the right window and clearing the sill of the world. It is always a matter, my darling, of life or death, as I had forgotten. I wish what I wished you before, but harder. So that's a little bit of poetry about parents and children. As always, I thank you for watching. I hope that you're doing well. I'll speak with you again soon. Take care.